Hey friends, it's UrsulasRevenge, and welcome to a very special speculation star stable video. Normally this kind of video would have come out on a Saturday, except that this past Saturday I was actually at a Renaissance festival and I had so much fun, so I thought I'd continue that fun and talk about the upcoming birthday event, which, if you didn't know, is Renaissance Festival themed. So there really isn't like a better time to discuss this, although it probably would have been like 2 or 3 weeks ago when the spoilers started coming out, but it's fine, don't worry about it. Better late than never. So this video will be talking about a bunch of Star Stable spoilers for the upcoming event in September. If you do not want to see any sorts of spoilers and you don't want to know anything about it, then go ahead and click off this video. My feelings will not be hurt. But if you do want to talk about spoilers, stay tuned. So full disclosure, all of my information here is either coming from Star Stable's Instagram account or the CC Creations YouTube channel. Now, I didn't want to do the thing where you just play somebody else's video and just live react to it. I didn't really think that was fair, and I highly recommend that you go support CC Creations, you go watch their channel, subscribe, and watch their full video. Here, I'm only going to be showing screenshots just to kind of explain what I'm talking about as like a visual reference, but I highly recommend you actually go and watch the video, which will be linked in the description. Also, to that point, I will not be touching everything in that video. Some things we've already gotten, other things weren't really worth theorizing about, but I do have a couple of things that I wanted to highlight that were shown in that video. First though, let's talk about everything that we do know currently that is confirmed by Star Stable, and most of this is coming from their Instagram account. So according to this Instagram post posted by Star Stable, they have left a bunch of information in the description about the upcoming event. First thing that we know is that it is the 13th birthday coming up in September, and that this event is to replace the existing birthday event. We don't know if it will always be Ren Fair, or if they'll do something new next year, or if it'll go back to the birthday cake event that we're used to having. All we know is that this year, the birthday cake event that we have had in the past years will be replaced by this new Renaissance Festival. Something else that I wanted to point out in the description is that they've mentioned 3 things: knights, jousting, and dragons. Looking over at Cece's video, it is kind of obvious what they mean by knights and dragons. We will be getting some dragon pets, which are so cute. There will be 4 varieties, they all have special names, and there are 4 colors. These pets have some of the cutest idle animations in the saddlebag and flying, and I am so excited. I have not decided which one that I want, but it is going to be a hard decision, to be honest. What I love about these is that we are finally getting dragon pets that match the dragon Jorvik Frisian magic horses. I know we had the panda rays. To be honest, the panda rays didn't ever really grab me in any of the varieties that we've had for them. So it's nice that we're getting actual dragon pets to match the dragon horses. Now, the jousting that they mentioned, we're going to get into a little bit later as part of the whole speculation part of this video. And finally, what we do know about this event is that it will start on September 11th, which is 2 Wednesdays from now, not including this Wednesday's update, which by the time I release this video is probably tomorrow. Alright, fine, so we'll call it 3 Wednesday updates, it's fine. Something else that we've seen them do a lot with events lately is codes that they've been releasing on social media. It seems like this event might not be very different from that, although they are going about it a little differently. So what I mean by that, we've already received 1 full code that was part of this same Instagram post. If you've not redeemed it yet, be sure to do so. You get a full outfit, this Hobbit core outfit that's adorable, full stats. It's just so cute. So you can already go into the event with your medieval garb for free. So if you've not redeemed that code, it's Medieval Madness. Be sure to do so. I don't know how long this code will be active for, so be sure to grab it while it is. But that is not the only code, sort of, that we're aware of. No additional codes have released yet, but Star Stable this morning, well, yesterday by the time you've seen this, posted a new reel that has some paper letters being dropped. It did state that this is video 1 of 3, so it's assumed that we're going to be getting more letters to piece together for a code to unlock more things in advance of the event. I don't know if it's going to be an anagram or some other sort of cipher or cryptogram. Between me rewatching Gravity Falls and the Neopets stuff that posted today, I'm kind of drowning in ciphers and cryptograms right now, but I'm not complaining. I do like these kinds of puzzles. So we will find out more when the other 2 reels release, but keep an eye out on them on Instagram to see if you can solve the riddle yourself. We don't know if there's going to be a full, like, 7-part code series like they've done for past events. There might be, but again, we won't know until the event actually starts when we keep an eye out on their social medias. I would not be surprised though. Regardless, any codes that will be found, I will be posting to my Tumblr, so if you are a person of the Tumblr, you can just follow me there. I do know that the codes also get posted onto Reddit in like a master thread, so keep an eye out on Reddit if that's more your speed. And finally, onto the speculation section of today's video. So the first thing that I want to speculate about is the knights that they mentioned in the description. So we know that there are 4 new outfits that are about this whole, it's basically knight garb, where you have like armor and, well, armor. So the first set that we have is kind of like this generic tan with just like the silver medal on it. But there are 3 additional varieties that use that same basis, also with a horse tack, except that the shirt changes and the saddle pad changes. There is a red one that is unicorn themed, a black and yellow one that is wolf themed, and a blue one that is tree themed. They've called it Great Oaks. The descriptions for these also have like different characteristics that kind of like describe the houses. These same motifs are also repeated in other aspects of the update. There's a scene that we see where there are different banners that are repeated along the wall for each of these houses or factions. And seeing that kind of like reminded me of medieval times, of, if you're not aware, it's like a dinner jousting show where you're separated into 4 houses or 4 colored teams, and you cheer for your jouster or your knight. It's basically like a tournament. It's like a jousting tournament that you watch and you eat food, but you are part of teams. And then you cheer for your knight, and then you boo when they lose, and all different things. But what I'm trying to say here is that you are basically part of a team, and that team can win or lose. And that kind of made me think that this might be a faction event, and that got me really excited. But I don't want to get too excited yet because I, 1, don't know how they would do it, and 2, feel like the solution is probably easier than what I'm making it out to be. So what I mean by a faction event is that you pick a team and then you contribute to that team doing different things like points or getting races or high scores or championship ribbons. And each activity or thing that you do will count towards your team, and by the end of the event, you see who's got the most points. I have speculated a type of event with my friend Applesauce, but we kind of thought about it as like, well, this would be something cool for Equestrian Festival where you have the different riding clubs compete, where you have like bobcats versus bulldogs versus flying foxes, and you like pick a team or a riding club and you do all your races and see who's the best club, because they kind of like talked about who was the best club in like all the quests and stuff. And there's always like some sort of like civil rivalry between the 3 anyway that'd be really fun for like friendly competition. And then at the end you can get something like, I don't know, a special shirt for your faction or a helmet or a ribbon or something. Now, I'm not saying that that's what they're doing. I think it would be really cool if they did that for this event, because then it could also open up to maybe eventually doing that for the spring event. But that's kind of like my big hopes and dreams for something that Star Stable could eventually do. And if they manage to pull it off for the Renaissance Festival, that would be so cool. And like the reward at the end could be something like a ribbon that just like confirms like, oh, for the 2024 event, this team got 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, and then you can kind of collect them as you go. That would be just so cool. And another reason why this idea was kind of supported in my brain was the text spoilers from the text files that were shown at the end of Cece's video. If you look at the bottom of the list, there are text options for NPCs titled Medieval Great Oaks, or Great Unicorns, or Great Wolves. But what's interesting is that they have additional options for same house. And that kind of got me thinking that if you selected which house you were a part of, you'd get different greetings from the different NPCs around. That's kind of what set me down this whole rabbit hole of thinking it was a faction event. That plus like the whole like team colors and things, which was definitely reminiscent of medieval times. But that same house of like choosing your faction is really what set me down here. Now, that would be my dream if that were the case, but I can imagine a simpler solution, and that the same house just means you're wearing the same color shirt that they are. This is something that we have already seen implemented in the game with the Renegades. When you wear their mask for either year of the event, you get special dialogue when you run into the Renegades in the wild, but also if you get the Baroness ribbon from either 2023 or 2024, some of the NPCs around Jorvik Stables would comment on the fact that you were wearing the Baroness's ribbon, that you were recognized for your achievements by the Baroness. Now, we know that it is something possible that wearing an item of clothing or tack will have a different NPC reaction. So it's not too far-fetched to think that just wearing the shirt is enough to get the same house reaction from the NPCs. But it would just be so cool if you could just actively choose a faction. Again, that would be a dream. I don't think that that's actually what they're doing, but it'd be so cool if that were the case. Now, it is worth noting that there is one other faction that is titled with the same house NPC, and it's called Errants. So errant means either misbehaving, lawless, or delinquent, but I think in this case it just means undecided. So this could be a sort of message that you get when you choose to wear just the plain knight's garb that's like that brown tannish color. That's just an interpretation. Again, we haven't seen another shirt that has like a specific group or faction on it, so that's just my assumption, is that if you wear the plain knight outfit you get a different text. But again, we'll find out in a couple of weeks what that actually means. Now, one of the reasons why I think that this isn't actually like a true faction event where your actions attribute to points, more or less that choosing your house is dependent on what outfit you choose to wear, besides the fact that that's just the simpler answer, is that you would think that there would be actual jousting as part of the event as like a new gameplay element. And unfortunately, I don't think that that's the case here. As cool as it would be, I don't think that that's actually what they're doing, because also in the video, CC showed different paddock props, and one of those paddock props was a jousting arena. All we know right now is that it is a paddock prop. Whether it's something else is yet to be seen. That was kind of my whole asterisk on the jousting as part of their Instagram. We are still a couple of weeks out from the event, so if there is a jousting gameplay element, it's possible that it wasn't implemented in the game yet, or discoverable in the files for that video. So right now, the only jousting that we know about is going to be a paddock prop and not a gameplay element. So that was kind of why I was leaning towards it not being a true faction event, but just being sort of the simpler option. We also know that there are new jumping obstacles that were also included in the paddock props, and one in particular that I wanted to point out was this interesting one here, which should look familiar because that is the bridge to Marchenghast Castle. And I don't think that this means anything large for Marchenghast Castle, even though that would be cool. It just happens that Marchenghast is like a medieval German castle, so it just kind of fits in with the theme. Again, that's not to say that there isn't anything to do with it, but it is interesting that they're sprinkling in a little bit of Marchenghast history and lore with some of the recent newspaper quests, as well as utilizing one of the assets for the building in an upcoming festival. I don't know, it's just food for thought. Could just be an asset, but it could mean something more. Who's to say? We'll find out in a couple of weeks. So yeah, this was just kind of food for thought and some of the things that I've noticed in the spoiler video. While I don't entirely consume a whole lot of SSO YouTube content, I didn't see too many people dissecting some of the details like I did here. I'm curious to know what you think and what your theories are. You could of course let me know those in the comments. And again, just because we haven't seen something happen in the game yet doesn't mean it's not possible. I am so excited to see what comes of this event. I'm like counting down the days and waiting for it to come up. This Wednesday's update is the last one on the current Next Step in Jorvik roadmap, so we can expect to see one soon that will hopefully give us a little bit more information about what's to expect in the upcoming birthday event. They tend to like to do a full 4-week roadmap for events because they tend to last a month. So the event starts on September 11th, which means that the September 4th update is sort of unaccounted for. So we don't know if we're going to just kind of get a surprise not mentioned update on September 4th and then the roadmap for the next following week starts, or if maybe this Wednesday's update according to the roadmap is split out into 2 weeks. I have no idea. The only thing we know that's coming this week is the Bazaar. They haven't mentioned anything about the Nilmar Highland update or the pony race update that they mentioned in the Next Step in Jorvik. We don't know if that's been moved out. So yeah, we'll find out more what to expect on Wednesday. Hopefully we get a roadmap on Thursday, but I feel like we're probably going to get a roadmap next Thursday instead. I would love to be wrong. Anyways, that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another video like this. I do try to cover every Wednesday update and more. Let me know which house you will be choosing. I already know which one I will be choosing, and I will see you all in, actually on Wednesday. I'll see you for the Wednesday update. Bye!